Well, Apple, Chicoms, collude to block free speech avenues like Musk and Twitter, including Apple's own airdrop system. Oh, you bet.
What the fuck?
I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this is what's next. Hey, what's up, everyone? Jasper Gonzo here. What's next? Another episode for you. Your daily, as always. Happy Wednesday. Well, the China lockdowns, the China protesters. You know, you're talking its own citizens beating them down, locking themselves in their own apartments, welding the doors shut. And of course, all in regards to safety and their zero COVID policy. But what's even worse, I want to say worse. I mean, you know, the human rights abuses in China are legendary. But when you have businesses colluding to stop what's actually going on the streets of China, then you have a problem. Apple, whose phones are made in China, who is colluding with China, are they really out to stop those like Musk and Twitter, and including Apple's own airdrop system, from reporting what's actually true, i.e. free speech? According to Musk, you bet. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. This is Senator Tom Cotton. Apple needs to stop helping keep Chinese protesters from communicating with each other. On Tuesday broadcast of Fox News Channel's American Newsroom, Senator Tom Cotton criticized Apple, a company deeply invested in China, fact, for restricting features like airdrop system, file sharing service in China, that the Chinese people protest against the Chinese Communist Party oppressive COVID policies by using a bypass CCP censorship to communicate with each other. Apple does this from phone to phone. And organized bigger protests are calling on the U.S. government to do whatever it can to help protesters in China voice their desire for freedom. Cotton said, corporate America, for instance, could take steps to help China, to help these Chinese citizens communicate with each other. Apple, which of course is deeply invested, it has deep markets penetration on its iPhones, could be enabling certain features that would allow them to communicate with each other so they can organize even larger protests. We should be taking every step possible to help these Chinese voice their deepest aspirations for freedom. Exactly what Ronald Reagan did in the Cold War is what we should be doing now. And as I write in Only the Strong, it didn't lead to confrontational war. It led to peace and success and victory. We go from that to this, also out of Breitbart. Governor Ron DeSantis, the macho man himself, Apple threatening to remove Twitter from App Store could merit a response from Congress, and it should. Apple reportedly is threatening to suspend Twitter from its app, because of butthurt feelings. Merit a response from the United States Congress, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said during a press conference Tuesday. Twitter owner Elon Musk announced on Monday that Apple has threatened to withhold a social media platform from its app store, but said that Apple is been unwilling to provide an explanation as to why. Gee, I wonder why. He also said Apple has mostly stopped advertising on Twitter, including Apple's own current CEO of the app. Of its app store, has deleted its Twitter account. Gee, again, I wonder why. DeSantis, who in April said that Musk offered to buy Twitter, raised the prospect of free speech would return to social media giant, spoke about Apple's alleged threat on Tuesday, explaining that it could warrant congressional action. Quote, you also hear reports that Apple is threatening to remove Twitter from the App Store, because Elon is certainly actually opening up to free speech and restoring a lot of accounts that were unfairly and legitimately suspended for putting out accurate information about the coup, he said. That's like one of our main things that's been reinstated. So many things. These quote unquote experts were wrong, and you had people on Twitter that were calling them out. The old regime, their response was just try to suffocate the dissent, DeSantis said. One of the champions of speaking out against corona misinformation continued. Quote, this is Ron DeSantis.
Very concerning. And then
when you also hear reports that Apple is threatening to remove Twitter from the App Store because Elon Musk is actually opening it up for free speech and is restoring a lot of accounts that were unfairly and illegitimately suspended for putting out accurate information about COVID. That's like one of the main things that's being reinstated. So many things these experts were wrong at, and you had people on Twitter that were calling that out. And Twitter, the old regime in Twitter, their response was to try to just suffocate the dissent. And Elon Musk knows that's not a winning formula, and so he's providing free speech. And so if Apple responds to that by nuking them from the App Store, I think that would be a huge mistake, and it would be a really raw exercise of monopolistic power that I think would merit a response from the United States Congress. And so don't be a vassal of the CCP on one hand and then use your corporate power in the United States on the other to suffocate Americans and try to suppress their right to express themselves.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Musk has continued to highlight the Apple's alleged threats, even posting a poll asking users if Apple should, quote, publish all censorship actions it has taken that affect its customers. Of course, overwhelming 85%. Quote, this is a battle for the future civilization. If free speech is lost, even in America, tyranny is all that lies ahead, Musk wrote on Monday. Notably, the billionaire this month said he would support Florida Governor 24, of course, but he emphasized that Twitter as a platform must be fair to all opinions. DeSantis remarkers follow Apple restricting the use of AirDrop, Chinese iPhones, and dissidents used to distribute messages blocked by the communist regime. Yes, even Apple's own system itself is blocking themselves from phone to phone and speaking to each other. Breitbart News reported, until Apple clipped its wings, AirDrop was one of the few readily available methods of secure and private file sharing on Chinese heavily monitored internet. The system is difficult for censors to monitor or block because it does not run through the remote online servers. It's a loophole. It's an end around. Instead, it allows iPhones and other Apple devices to send files to each other directly using Wi-Fi and Bluetooth signals. The device must be fairly close to each other for the AirDrop to work. There's reports that Apple is not allowing the protesters to use its function where they are trying to communicate. That's obviously providing aid and comfort to the Chi-Coms, DeSantis said, calling the report very concerning. DeSantis is 100% correct. 100% correct. Now, question is Congress going to step in? Because they had no problem stepping in. Rand Paul, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, who led a Senate meetings, several of them, with, Jack Dorsey, owner at Twitter at the time, with representatives from YouTube, with representatives from Apple, basically saying, you guys have a problem with censoring conservative and libertarian speech, opposing speech. And they were like, no, including one Ben Shapiro, who hammered it home in regards to conservatives' free speech being stifled by, big tech. So now we fast forward. That was in 2017 when they were having all these meetings, including President Trump at the time, who had a sit-down meeting outdoors with a number of YouTubers and, conservative, alternative tech content creators. And of course, that went nowhere. That produced nothing. But this is different. With Elon, he's been able to take Twitter under his wing and basically mold it, shape it to his will, and say, guess what? Everybody is going to have their say. Left, right, center. You've got to have your say. But Apple's like, no. Especially when it comes to China. Why? Because Apple kisses China's ass. Apple phones are made in China. So you're not going to bite the hand that feeds you. They're not going to do it. Just like Biden, who's been kept silent, who's been shutting, basically just sitting there like Nero, instead of playing the violin and watching it all burn in front of him. Basically, he stumbles around in complete ignorance. Same thing. Tim Cook, who has praised China in the past, has no problem for this. So when you have Apple, Google, colluding with each other. I didn't mention Google earlier because this was basically an Apple story, but Google colluding with each other, saying, hey, you know what? Musk is too much of a threat. Musk is basically saying he wants to basically unleash and open up all the files for everyone to see, to be transparent. Wow, what a concept. No, we can't have that. Musk is a threat. And the only way to stop that threat is to make sure no one can download Twitter off the app stores. We're going to see where this goes, because when you got a guy who's he's the richest man on the planet and has massive influence, should be interesting. Me, I'm putting my money on Elon. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Bargonzo. This is what's next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. If you like it, share it, subscribe to it. Help the channel continue to grow. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.